My name is Pastor Charles. I've been ministering here for the past 6 years. I've been preaching 27 years, so it's a rewarding ministry. I love the Lord, and I love the men that come here. Amen. And, you know, St. Paul's House has been a rewarding ministry for me, and I praise God. Through the years, a lot of men come in here. I've seen them change life, and I thank God for that.
Welcome back to Faith and Reason as we continue to talk about St. Paul's House, a ministry in the heart of downtown New York in Manhattan. And here to talk about it is Reverend David Burns, the director of that ministry. And you've been involved for 42 years. Now, I guess my question to you is what keeps you going? I mean, and where does faith come into this? I mean, were you born to be a social worker or to give yourself to the homeless, or how does you being a Christian keep you doing it for that long?
Well, when I first came to St. Paul's House, as I said, it was my first Christian service assignment. We were required to put into practice what we had learned in the classroom. And so
what class was that?
Right. In fact, I spoke at my college, and the topic of my discussion was what I never learned at NIAC. I learned it at St. Paul's House.
Yeah, sure.
There's nothing like practical service. I know the classroom is important, but they never taught me that the director of St. Paul's House would have to also be scrubbing the floors occasionally.
Right.
As you know, being a pastor or being any social worker or anything like that, you have to get your hands dirty. Right. You have to get down there and get, I don't wear even this when I'm at St. Paul's House. I wear casual clothes because I don't want the men to think that I'm so far up there that they can't talk to me.
Right.
And so we try to be as far as we can, as close to them. I'm not homeless, I take a bath, but I try to be as close to them in my dress and in my attitude. I joke with them, I talk casually with them. There is a certain barrier which I must keep myself separated because I am the final court of last resort at St. Paul's House. I make the final decision about who stays and who doesn't stay, so I have to keep a certain level.
Now, some would say you're doing this because you're trying to win God's favor or you're trying to earn some brownie points. How would you respond to that kind of question? What keeps you going?
That was the reason that kept me at St. Paul's House. When I went there, I saw that I was able to help people on a daily basis. Every time someone comes to the door, it's a crisis for them, but it's not for me. I go to bed at night knowing that I've given people clothing and shelter and food. It's a very good feeling. I can't say that I don't get something personally from it. I think everyone wants to feel that their day has gone well. Right. And that it has been a profitable day, not just for ourselves, but for others who have come in contact with us. I feel that way every day. I go to bed at night and I sleep very well. My wife says, you know, you don't even talk to me at night. You're snoring in 2 minutes. I say, well, you know, you live a godly life. You go to sleep. You sleep well.
You sleep well.
But that's the way I feel about working in inner city. And it's not because I feel better than they are, because like I say, I try to bring myself down. I don't want them to think that I'm someone that is unreachable. But there's a certain camaraderie that we have with the homeless. There is a certain counseling that we have to do with the homeless. So we are many things to the homeless that come into the mission. We're not just simply there to feed them. We literally get involved with them if we can. So I feel very good when the day is over. I know that I've done something.
My guess is you really love these men. I mean,
I think so. In fact, that is a problem. I must be very careful not to get too close to them.
What is it that
They'll break your heart.
What is it that you love about them?
Well, I like them because I find out that homelessness has nothing to do with an individual's personality and their lives. They're just ordinary people who have fallen on hard times. And so it can happen to me. I could be, in fact, my wife and I lived in the mission for 6 months because our house burned up. Because it's very nice because I was the director of the mission. I got in very easily. There were no questions asked whatsoever.
True.
But even I found myself to be homeless. And while they were repairing our house, I actually had to come and live in the mission. And then after a couple of years after that, my wife and I she said to me, I never felt more safe and comfortable than I did when I was living at St. Paul's House. So we moved in literally, lock, stock, and barrel out of our house upstate. And we stayed there for 3 or 4 years.
Okay. With children?
With children. And 2 dogs.
Okay.
It's a great life.
Yes, yes. No, listen, for those of us who live outside of the city, you know, we admire what you do, and and it's an inspiration to know that that as we share common faith and a love for Jesus Christ, some people are called to that ministry, and
Absolutely.
and we feel privileged to be a small part of it. You know, a little group from our church. It's great for us because we get some exposure. We get a chance to lend a small helping hand, knowing that you and your staff are doing this full time, and it's a very important part of what you do. I have a question. Why don't you just share a couple more stories of changed lives? I know you mentioned one before. I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't that keep you going in some regards? The fact that some people are helped, some people do
Right.
put their life back together again.
One
Sure.
good example is a man who's living he doesn't live at the house right now, but he works at the house every day. And he was a product of 9/11. You know, after 9/11, the homelessness went up
Right.
tremendously. And so he came to St. Paul's House because he thought we could get him a job. He didn't realize that we were just simply a shelter. And when he came in, he said, "I'm looking for a job." He said, "Well, we don't have any jobs. We might take care of you while you're looking for a job." And so he came in, he entered the shelter program because he was sleeping on the subways, and he stayed. We helped him. He made a commitment to Christ. And when it was time for him to go, because, you know, sometimes we have to push people out. They don't want to leave, you know, they like it. It's comfortable there. And so he just didn't want to leave. He says, "Well, can I come back?" So he started coming back every day. So he started cooking breakfast. He has breakfast. Actually, Thursday, which is the day he cooks, is the only day that we have a true breakfast.
Okay.
And he makes bacon and eggs, waffles and sausage, and he buys them all himself, and he brings them in and cooks them for the men.
Okay.
So they can get a traditional breakfast.
Right.
So a breakfast is not really a good meal.
And he's working now somewhere else, and
He works for me.
Oh, he's working for you full time. He works for you full time.
Full time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Some people are just so good we can't let them go.
Right. Right.
How do you
And
determine when to release someone? That must be
that's a problem, because many times when we say your time is up, and that's when we see that a man has gotten a job, he's gotten a little savings. We have a little safe that we keep their money in for them. They have to, of course, get 1 month's rent and 1 month's security. These are things that are just common. And we just simply say, you know, it's time to go. It's
Right.
time to go. We've had them cry. We've had them hug us. They didn't want to leave. We've had their bosses call and say, "Why are you kicking him out? Did he do something
Yeah,
wrong?"
right.
He's always at work on time. He's always there, because the men get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they have to feed the homeless that come in the morning. The residents feed the outside homeless that are coming in. So they get in the habit of getting up early in the morning, so that when they get an apartment of their own, they've gotten into the habit of getting up, and they're able to get up and get to work on time. Because that's a big problem with the homeless.
Yeah.
Been homeless for a long time. You've gotten out of that routine, and we try to bring them back into that routine. Every man has a little job in the morning where he has to literally do something in the house, whether it's sweeping or mopping a floor or mopping out the front. But everyone does some work to help. We couldn't do it on our own.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been our privilege to speak with Pastor David Burns. He runs a program called St. Paul's House in the city, named after the Apostle Paul, of course. And it's a program that's been there for a number of years, and Pastor David has been the director for many years and has been a part of it for 42, you said,
42.
right? And it's Pastor Dominic Apollos from the First Reformed Church. I'm from Fort Lee Gospel Church. We're 2 of 3 churches, also Metro Communities, a 3rd church, that put together Faith and Reason every week. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you next week, and may God richly bless your life.
We're glad you tuned in, and if you have any comments or questions or feel the need to talk to us in any way, just grab a pen and a piece of paper, and you can contact Pastor Dominic at the First Reformed Church of the Palisades. Or you can contact Reverend Spence at the Fort Lee Gospel Church. So until next time, God bless you and have a great week.